Good morning, 8th grade, 7th and 8th grade students. Uh, Today we're going to be going over analyzing the moon phases and introduce you to your next couple of assignments. So when you look up in the sky and you see the moon, you notice that part of the moon is covered in darkness and part of it is reflecting the sun's light. Depending on what time of the month dictates how much of this moon you actually see. Okay, so we're going to learn why that is and why we have these different what we call phases. All right, so first of all, what is a phase? A phase is the change in the sunlit area of one celestial body, such as a moon, as seen from another celestial body, such as Earth. So phases, what that means is phases can be, we can relate these to the moon phases. The celestial bodies are the Earth and the moon. It also applies to other planets as well. So when we look up at Venus, we can see different phases of Venus. When we look up at other planets, for instance, we can also see different phases. In other words, we can see part of the side of that particular planet or moon due to its relative position to Earth and the sun. Now, one thing that we need to point out too is you can predict the phases of the moon on any given day that the phases will happen in a regular pattern. Those of you who are familiar with such religious holidays such as Ramadan and Easter, these are holidays that are reliant on the different moon phases. And we can go to Google right now and search what day Ramadan is going to fall on in 2021 if we wanted to, and we can know this because of these regular repeating patterns of these moon phases. Okay, so every day, technically, the moon has a different phase because it is in constant motion around the Earth. Okay, the side of the moon that is lit is always the side closest to where the sun sets. This is important information here. Okay, because the moon does not give off its own light. The moon only reflects light from the sun, and so that makes sense. All right, so if you notice the different patterns here, the moon goes through different phases. If you look upside right now, today is September 22nd, and tonight the moon is in this phase right here. So when we look up at the sky, we look off to the western direction, the moon is out during the daytime. You can actually see it while it's still light outside. And we're going to learn why that is pretty soon. All right, so progressively over the course of the month, the moon gets, shall we say, more light reflects off the moon until it gets to be its full stage. And once it reaches its full stage, it progressively gets less, okay, until we don't see it anymore. And when we don't see the moon anymore outside at all, this is called a new moon. Okay, so I'll let you guys answer these questions in your book here. All right. There's a nice little lab that we could have done in class, but we're going to postpone this for a little bit. You're going to do a different activity. So let me just skip down. All right. All right, types of moon phases. So the appearance of the moon is seen from the Earth changes as the moon orbits the Earth. Okay. This happens because observers on the Earth see different ratios of light to dark in the moon's surface. This is important. Ratios is a mathematical term. So in other words, different percentages of light. All right, you're going to do a project here pretty soon where you're going to have to analyze the ratios of light and dark on the surface. So when Earth, think about what happens when the moon is between the Earth and the sun. Just like if you're looking at a very bright light, you can't see the objects in front of you. Same thing. The moon is in the middle, or in between, Earth and the sun. We can't see it because the side that's facing the sun is reflecting it. And so we're looking at the dark side of the moon, shall we say, which we can't see. So we call this a new moon. All right, so from the new moon, It's continuing its orbit around the sun until it gets on the opposite side where a full moon occurs, where the Earth is in between the moon and the sun. So the moon is, shall we say, behind us in relationship to the sun. And that's when we can see its full reflecting there in terms of the full moon. Okay, so interesting information down here. The same side of the moon always faces the Earth because they both take the same amount of time to rotate. Okay, so in other words, I'll give you guys a video to show you this and how it looks. But Earth is spinning and the moon is spinning, but the moon has the same time it takes the moon to rotate one time is the exact same time that it takes for the moon to orbit the Earth. Okay, because of that, we only see the same side of the moon. We never see what's called the dark side of the moon. So this pattern usually takes about 27 days. There are some little differences depending on some other factors that we'll learn a little bit later. So here's the part that you need to know. The different phases of the moon and the relationship to where the Earth and the moon is. You're going to do a project, this project here, model the patterns of the moon phases. You're going to do this, and this little model here is going to be very helpful. So you're going to make a three-dimensional model where you're going to show the orbit of the moon, right, and the relationship between the sun and the Earth, okay, and how that looks from Earth, okay. So day 0 to day 29, if you click right here on A, this tells you.
New moon. The moon is between Earth and the sun. From Earth, the moon is completely dark because the side that reflects sunlight is facing away from the sun.
Okay, I hope you guys heard that, but yeah, here's the relationship. This isn't a perfect scale model, but it's pretty close. So here's the Earth, right? Here's the sun. So this side of the Earth is receiving daylight, right? This side of the moon is reflecting the sunlight, okay? Because the position of the moon is here in between the two, we can only see this side of the moon. And since there's no sunlight reflecting on there, it's completely dark. So we call this a new moon. And so progressively over the course of a couple more days, we get to position B here. Position B is
B.
Waxing crescent.
Waxing crescent. A thin sliver of the moon becomes visible and continues to grow. Waxing means the part of the moon we see is getting larger.
Okay, I'm going to let you guys go through and click on all these in your textbook so you can see. But if you look here, geometrically, you have an angle here of about how many degrees angle do you think that is from here to here? Okay, I'll let you think about that. You can actually measure it with a protractor. But anyway, you can look that up too. This is called the waxing crescent. So the waxing means you're seeing a little progressively more of the reflective side of the moon. Okay, it's getting larger. That's what the word waxing means. All right, you're seeing more, and from there it goes to the first quarter, which you can see about half. All right, then you have what's called waning. Waning means waxing.
D. Waxing gibbous. The sunlit fraction of the moon that is visible from Earth continues to grow.
Sorry, I misspoke. This is waxing gibbous. So this one's about 75% of the moon's surface is visible from Earth at this point. Okay, and then that gets us to day 14, which is about the middle of the month, and that is a full moon. And so from this point, the angle is about, let's see, what is the angle is at? About 180 degrees, right? A straight line. So from here, we go into waning gibbous.
F. Waning gibbous. The sunlit fraction of the moon that is visible from Earth decreases. Waning means that the part of the moon we see is getting smaller.
Very good. And so day 21, you get about half again. It's going away. It's when you get to H, this is the waning crescent. Okay. So basically what's happening here is you start out, you don't see any. You see about 25%. Here you see about 50%. You see about 75%, 100%, back to 75%, back to 50, back to 25, and back to 0. And so these are the phases of the moon. Okay. And so here you can see, you can do this on your textbook as well. Now let's go over to the assignment that you have. So first of all, here is an Edpuzzle assignment. This is due today. After you watch this video, you can watch this other video too and take the little quiz with that. And here is, this is due Monday, September 28th. This is my birthday. Oh man, my birthday present from you guys is you're going to create a three-dimensional model. You can either make this out of paper, styrofoam, cardboard, you name it, whatever you want to do, whatever you have around the house, you can make this out of a three-dimensional model, or you're going to create a digital model. There's a couple of different platforms. I'll find a couple of extra ones and put them on the slide here for you. But anyway, what you're going to do is you're going to model the sun, the moon, the earth, all right, and their relationship, okay, what their position is during each one of these moon phases. And you have to do all 6 of the moon phases. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 moon phases. I misspoke again. So you're going to put those in their correct positions. You're going to show or print off a picture or draw it, however you choose, or make some digital model. And you're going to show and label each percentage of light and dark on each side of the moon. You're going to label, obviously, the correct phase. You're going to approximate the geometric angle of the sun, moon, and earth for each phase as well. Now, if you go down here, this is one that the students made last year. Some of the pieces fell off, but you can kind of see exactly how it looked. So here's the representation of the earth. They had little styrofoam balls here that they painted, right, to show the light and the dark side of the moon. And then they put pictures here to show what it looked like from Earth. And in these pictures, if you zoom in, you can see that they put the percentage, they put the name of the phase, and they put the percentage of light and dark as seen from the Earth, as well as the geometric angle. So that should be done by September 28th. So that's Monday. So you guys have the rest of the week to work on this. Okay. So that's what you should be doing. So work a little bit every day. Don't wait till the last minute to try to start finding your supplies. Start finding your supplies today and get those and start working. Good luck.